Hi, Alan Behrens here again at IBM's Analyst Insights event. I'm joined this afternoon, just as a change, by two friends. Let me just let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Gary Barnett. I've been an industry analyst for too many years. My big focus, certainly right now, is the whole process of digital transformation, digital platforms, and a little bit of blockchain.
Hi, I'm David Terrar. I'm one of the founders and CXO of a company called Agile Elephant that's into digital transformation, and we team up with Bloor Research. So I've got the Bloor Research label on here as the analysts for certain topics.
Great. So we're all very different. I really just wanted to have a chat with Gary and David about what they thought of today's event, instead of me just harping on to you as per usual. What did you think of today?
Really positive. I think there are a number of important shifts in direction and in storytelling that IBM is now starting to do, which I think will make a difference. Right. And the one thing I wanted to highlight particularly was that whole discussion of cloud and what IBM can bring to its clients around that whole journey towards the cloud. So for quite some time I've been nagging IBM about the fact that yes, the Bluemix / IBM Cloud Platform is awesome and all those cloud services are great, but most of my clients are way away from being able to consume those services, and they're asking questions like, well, what do we do with our on-prem stuff? How do we reorganize? What does a transition to DevOps actually mean for our developers and our ops folks? Yeah. And you know, talking to IBM, you know they've got expertise and experience at every step of that journey, and they'd kind of overlooked it. And the change I've seen today is that they're actually now explicitly talking about journey and talking about the fact that wherever you are on that cloud adoption journey, IBM has something to talk to you about. And I think that's quite encouraging, because there was a sense for me that IBM was focusing a little bit too much on the hush puppy wearing cool kids and not enough on, frankly, the bulk of their customers who are tired old geezers like the three of us.
How about you, David?
I'm like Brian. I'm actually very positive. Apart from the fact the location's brilliant. I mean, this IBM studio is a very impressive building, lovely location to be doing it at. But I think the way that the IBM story has evolved over the last sort of 4 or 5 years really. It works in terms of where they've got to now, and their story on the cloud journey, and actually playing to the fact that actually 20% of the workloads have been taken into public cloud, and all of what's left, the 80% that's left, is actually legacy stuff where IBM comes into their own. A lot of that stuff sits on old IBM mainframe style kit, and they're the guys with the expertise to help shift that from that world into the new world. Yeah. And the whole multi-cloud connected story, lots of really good, interesting things in terms of their approach.
Yeah, I mean, I like the multi-cloud announcement this year, actually, wasn't it? Yeah. I have to say, I think some of the customer presentations are very good. I liked the discussion about the connected agriculture, the intelligent agricultural emphasis. I have to say, IBM's got a great story for the enterprise. I just failed to catch anything apart from the enterprise. I mean, did I miss something?
I think IBM in the last 5 years, and we've been watching IBM for over a decade. The last 5 years, IBM has been on this very interesting journey where they saw this massive pivot coming. They saw the cloud coming and started to focus on that and focus on the new and the shiny. They went through a phase, I think, of forgetting a little bit about the old and the boring, where most of their money comes from. And I think what we're seeing today is a rebalancing of that. Right. I think the fact that we had that very interesting talk about digital farming indicates to me that where IBM can't necessarily, offer the soup to nuts solution, they are willing and able to engage and partner with people in a more effective way. There's a sense with that digital farming story that IBM's not just a tech supplier, that they're actually more, they're more invested in their customer success than simply being a supplier. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of encouraging.
Yeah. I think that the customer stories were great. The farming one, lots of really good stuff in there. Just one thing that I was intrigued by, though, another hardware provider might have actually been talking heavily about IoT, which was mentioned once a little bit, but there's no mention of 5G, no mention of edge computing. Was the kind of thing you'd expect from that kind of story. But I mean, they still had some really good things to say, and like the Alitalia story is an amazing turnaround for an organisation, and the insurance company, is it Generali?
Yes,
the French
right.
insurance company. There were some really good customer stories.
Yeah.
But you're right in that it's a very enterprise cloud message, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
I think your comments about IoT is interesting because IBM Watson IoT has been a big story for some time. I was hoping to see something today. We've still got another day to go. Perhaps we'll see something over the next day, but it's certainly something I'm expecting to hear about more over the next day. Any sort of passing comments very quickly about what you'd like to see, perhaps question we'd like to ask IBM?
Well, certainly, I personally, I'd prefer to see less blockchain and more IoT.
Right,
Because I have fairly strong views about
Absolutely.
the pointlessness of blockchain and the potential value of IoT. But I mean, to your point about enterprise, it's a classic tech company thing that they want to show off the fastest and biggest story that they have, and one of the challenges I've put not just to IBM but to HP and to the other vendors is not every one of your customers needs to have 30,000 concurrent users, and so it's lovely to know that you can do that, but actually what can you do at 300 concurrent users where the bulk of the market and indeed over half the money is spent?
The big mid-range, mid-sized businesses. I'm a bit different from Brian in that as you know, I'm a pro-blockchain person,
Right.
so I'm looking forward to hearing some of that story. And I'm afraid I'm with Ginny, thinking that eventually it's because of what it can do to the mechanics of commerce. It's going to change all business. It's just that we're right at the start of it. And the stuff in blockchain that we haven't even conceived of that's going to happen in the next 5 years. I want to hear more about Watson artificial intelligence stuff, and actually understand that. I mean, I know a lot of people who are very sceptical about the capabilities of Watson and the costs associated with Watson. So I'd actually like to see, hear some more good customer stories beyond the ones we've heard today.
Right, and I mean, from my side, I mean, IoT notwithstanding, because I think both of it's that's an interesting area for me. I'd also like to hear about their channels. I think we're going to meet Diego Serg later on today. We're going to hear a little bit about their channels. Thank you for your time and patience. I hope you thought it was just interesting to have a little bit of a segue to tomorrow's discussion, and we'll speak on.